Thanks, Dima, for joining us at the Café de Macondo to talk about the next season of Sinfónica de Galicia. But first, let me now to congratulate you for your recent debut with Bavarian Radio Symphony Orchestra, one of the most important orchestras in Europe, in the world. The orchestra of Maris Jansons, in the past Lorin Maazel, Rafael Kubelik. How was your experience with this orchestra in Munich?
It was very, very important experience for me as a musician, as conductor. I think during these 3 days I've learned more than I have for the past 2-3 years. So it's a, it's a situation where you get a lot of new impulses from the orchestra which you have not sensed before, and you learn to manage the new situation. The way they communicate between each other inside the orchestra and the way they communicate with you is quite unique. And I was really happy that this happened, and I was happy that I was able to make music with them. Also to perform Sibelius was very special. Actually, I think said to the orchestra that I heard some qualities in that music which I have never heard before, though I've done it a few times. So it was musically very rewarding.
Congratulations. In an interview for Bavarian Radio TV, you told something very interesting. You explained how your career has been built from brick to brick. How important has been in this development your work here with Sinfónica de Galicia for your career?
With OSG, well, there were many bricks here and still are. Well, this is like the real school, because conductor is never ready, musician is never ready. So we all learn every day. So the possibility to work with OSG has been like real school for me. I don't know whether it is a primary school or high school. I think I have a lot, to learn. But this is the school of life and school of music, and great possibility to have a contact with great people also. So it's both on musical and human level, very rewarding. And we have gone already through a lot of repertoire with OSG, explored different corners of this musical world, and I just realized that the more we go into musical world, the more we have in front of us. So I hope it will still go on for.
And how would you compare our orchestra with orchestras like Munich or Chicago you have conducted recently?
It's very hard to compare. In general, orchestras, it's very hard to compare. They all have different characters. Obviously, you can talk about levels. I think OSG has very, very high level. The only thing which makes it clearly different from, for example, Bayerische Rundfunk is its age. OSG is only 25 years old. There are things which evolve and develop in the orchestra over the course of sometimes centuries, and so you cannot shortcut that. But I think it's amazing that an orchestra which is 25 years old only has achieved such a unity, and clearly its own style of playing, as here in OSG. And we work hard to maintain that. So I think that's the best comparison I can make here.
Moving into the program you are conducting this week, the first program, the inaugural program, you open it with a piece by the great Igor Stravinski, but a piece just 1 year old. How is it possible?
Yes, the piece has been discovered in St. Petersburg. by chance. I think there was no score, so they had to put the score together. They just found the parts. And it's a piece which has been known, to exist, but has been thought, that it was lost. So it's a great discovery. I think it has a very direct connection to the Mahler too, which we, not necessarily historically, but musically. And I mean, we are going to explore it first time tonight at the rehearsal, so I can tell you more after that. But it's wonderfully written piece, which is dedicated to the death of Rimsky-Korsakov, and truly Russian piece. But I think in its funeral color, it's not a funeral march, but I think it's beautiful that it's actually named Funeral Song. It is actually a song. It's a very, song-like, long lines and very dark colors as well. So it's almost that you can sense that this music is being picked up and developed in Mahler too, though it was of course composed a few years before, but not so far away actually.
So then you conduct Mahler Second. There are many reasons to open a season with such a gigantic work, but there are some particular reasons you have chosen this work, Mahler Second.
Well, how should I say it? This symphony asks a question, many questions, but existential question. Why are we here? And is that all? And what have we done and what happens next? I think these are questions we need to be asking ourselves every day. I try to do that. Sometimes I don't have answers to those questions. Sometimes I do. I hope that by playing this symphony, we will answer some of these questions. Why are we here and why are we bringing music to people? And I think we are very privileged to be able to give people something they cannot get from anywhere else. And Mahler has made a big challenge for himself already in the first moment of the symphony. He composed it and left it for a long time. So he kind of challenged himself by putting a big question mark, by burying the hero of his first symphony. So what happens next? Is that it? And in 5 years, he then continued composing the symphony. And this is a musical journey. It's not only a symphony, it's a musical journey where you get to travel in time as well. Yeah, so for me, this is an enormous opportunity to rediscover this piece.
And I have curiosity about something strange. If you could ask Mahler, Gustav Mahler, something about the work you are conducting, what would you ask him?
Apart from all the small questions, I would have maybe a million questions. But I think I would just like to sit next to him and just look at him. And this would have been already the greatest reward. I think his music speaks for itself. So asking him questions like how should this be or how should that be, it's all in the score. So if I had a possibility, I would just like to be next to him.
Yeah, and it's not shocking that a Jew, a person Jew, like him, wrote a symphony about a Catholic subject. What do you understand this? What do you explain? How do you explain this?
No, obviously, I mean, if you live in certain culture, I don't see any problem with that. It's art goes across religion. So talking about something which is greater than human, I don't see a problem with taking the subject from the other religion, even if you represent the other one. It's being broadly minded, that's all.
For conductors, Mahler's music is very rewarding, I think. Sometimes one famous conductor said that he felt like a god when he contacted Mahler. Do you feel in the same way? I don't think so, no.
No, I don't feel like a god. That would be maybe a little exaggeration. But you feel, well, there is a lot of power which is given to you when you conduct Mahler. Also other music, but let's talk about Mahler. So for conductor, it's not, for me, it's not only about power. It's about using that power to unify all these people on stage and in the audience, so that you can create a great kind of, it's like a prayer which, you know, you don't need words for. Wordless prayer, you know, it's just meditation maybe. And this symphony is actually very much about meditation. Your question is actually, it's a really good question, because in Mahler, I feel that very often the extrovert side of that music is taken as a number one substance. And it's thought to be so that when you get to conduct Mahler, that's the kind of the thing for a conductor. And many start to conduct it, to my taste, way too early. Perhaps I'm conducting it way too early too, but at the moment I feel ready for it, and it's very personal. So I need to, it's always a risk when you do something like this. It's, the music is a little bit more than something you can actually control. So the question of control and getting all the power of it is not essential. But the essential is what you can experience and what you can get from musicians and experience the whole scale of it. Because these symphonies, they are clearly more than just a piece of music, piece of, you know, they're not just symphonies, they're journeys, they spread, you know, over large amount of time and extreme life experience.
Feelings, yeah.
So for me, this is a big step. I've actually started conducting Mahler only a few days ago. For you, I've only started conducting Mahler a few years ago in OSG, actually. And I absolutely thought before that I'm not going to do it for a long time. But then I've tried once here in OSG, and I thought, okay, first of all, these are the right people to do Mahler with, the orchestra. And I felt, okay, maybe I'm ready for now.
And the choir, so important in this work.
The choir is extremely important. And it's funny that when he brings the choir here, and this would be the first time he brings the choir in his symphonies, definitely not the last, but he brings them in a very intimate way. So it's
triple piano.
Triple piano. So yeah, he brings it in a very soft way, very intimate way. And he was a little bit concerned that people would think that he is imitating Beethoven. But he managed to avoid that problem with a great taste. So there is no problem. And generally in his music there is never a problem of taste. If he writes something vulgar, he means it. And it's usually like, you know, satira or folk music, which he sometimes pushes into the limits, but always done with a great taste.
And well, this symphony has been performed many times. What do you think you contribute to this music? What is your personal contribution to this complex work?
Ooh, that's really hard to express with words. I obviously do my own version of it, the way I understand it. There are things which are important to me as, you know, interpreter of Mahler. These are the shape, the form of the music, of the whole symphony, and what happens with the movements in this symphony. Where do you kind of place them? How do they relate to each other or not relate, actually? So that's the big question here. What do you do with the second and third movement? Do they continue the same thought of first, or are they completely from different world? And the other thing which is very important is the fluency. It has to flow. The music has to flow. And it has to be organic. So tempo changes, which he writes in a great precision, you know, everything as a conductor. He wanted to express everything he himself thought. So all that information you have to filter through your own musicality and make build a house of that. This music can be performed in very many different ways. And I think, yeah, exploring all the furthest corners of dynamic scale and making it organic and full of passion, but full of intimacy, and just go all the way. I think this is the motto.
And your performances of the work have been watched in our YouTube channel for more than 20,000 people. Are you a bit pressed by this special of your work, of your way to see?
No. I think it's great. It's wonderful if people want to see it. And once it's performed, there is nothing I can do anymore about it. So I know that some of our concerts are being watched a lot, and I'm really happy about it. But I'm also I'm proud, but no, it's not a stress. It's a reward. Yeah. Okay.
And moving ahead in time, in February, you have a very important step in your build brick by brick career.
Yes.
More than a brick, is conducting the Berlin Philharmonic, the most important orchestra in the world. What do you feel? How are you approaching this moment? I suppose it's very dreadful.
I can hardly approach it in any different way than any other week, actually, because you just have to come there, be yourself, prepared, and get the best of the situation. That's it. That is the program for each week, no matter where.
Have you chosen the program? Or
oh, yes.
Yes?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's your choice?
Yeah.
Not a popular program?
Not especially popular, but I think it's interesting. Yeah, so we're performing Prokofiev's Second Symphony in the second half. The first half is Sibelius' Tapiola, and Shostakovich's Second Violin Concerto with Vibe Scribe.
Second, not first.
Second, yes.
Yeah.
Very interesting concerto. Great music also.
You are playing the same program here, so with OSZ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And well, going to the end of the season, it's another high point because you are doing the premiere of a work by Fagerlund. How important is for the orchestra to do contemporary music for the audience?
Extremely important. This is when you find yourself. You know, you open music, you don't know anything about the traditions of the performance of this piece. So you build it, and in best case, you get to work with a composer. Mm-hmm. And I've worked with Sebastian Fagerlund a lot for many years, and so I know his language, I know how he thinks, and I'm very proud to say that his composing career is going very well. So people accept and like his music a lot. He just had a premiere of his opera, Autumn Sonata, in the Finnish National Opera, and got great reviews. Mm-hmm. So he's wonderful. It's a wonderful collaboration for him and myself, and I'm going to continue being advocate of his music. Mm-hmm. For audience and for the orchestra, I think playing new music is like inserting vitamins in your system. It makes it fresh, the way you perceive music, and for us the way we perform. And it's just very important because Mahler's music was new music also at some time.
Yeah.
And the same was with Beethoven. And never has it been easy for composers to, break through. Never. Especially those pieces which stay in history. The more if we look back, all the pieces, or almost all the pieces which, are now known as classics, they had a lot of friction, to be accepted.
For instance, Rite of Spring, that we were conducting in the same concert to end the season.
For example, Rite of Spring, what a scandal.
At music.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so you are an expert by your genes, by your birth, you are an expert in Russian music. For your learning and your development, you are also specialized in Finnish music, but you also love German music like Mahler. In what of these worlds, musical worlds, are you more at ease?
At ease, I don't know. I don't know if I can. I mean, it's up to other people to say I'm expert in Russian music. I don't know if I'm an expert in Russian music. It's a part of my DNA. I was born there. I grew up there, so I was saturated with this culture. But more than half of my life I live elsewhere, so saturation has, the mixture, let's say, has changed. Mm-hmm. So I'm a mixture. I don't know. I very rarely conduct music which I don't like. Mm-hmm. It's not because I don't take pieces which I don't like, but because I try to establish a relationship with the piece which I conduct. Mm-hmm. So even, let's say, even the piece which I'm not so excited about, mm-hmm. I'm trying to make it as good as possible. Mm-hmm. And then after the concert or after the week decide, what do I want to do with this? Take again or not? Uh-huh. But so at ease, I don't know. Actually, easiness in making music is not necessarily a good thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need a good friction. And actually, most of the time, you cannot perform Mahler 2 or, let's say, rehearse Mahler 2 without certain friction. You have so many people on stage already with their own musicalities and with their own
egos.
Egos, yes. I mean, personalities. That there is always friction. So I really like it. Mm-hmm. Friction is good. It's energy. Mm-hmm.
Well, and finally, you are conducting the piece, this program in Vigo, both in Vigo and in Coruña. It's very important to open the season in a new auditorium in Vigo.
Exactly.
For new audience and for new people. Sure, for you it's very important.
Very important, very important. It's I think it's a new stage, new step in our relationship with with Vigo. Vigo concerts has been always very important for us, and the fact that we can explore the new venue it's fantastic, really. And I'm really looking forward because I have myself I have not performed there, but the auditorium seems like a very good acoustic place. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend performing there.
Okay. Thanks a lot and all the
pleasure.
best for this concert and for all the season and many successes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Dima.
you, Pablo.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks.